What is good, y'all? SGG family, baby. We're back and better with yet another Reds rebuild. I hope you guys have been enjoying the channel and really loving the content that I've been able to push out for you guys as far as the gaming videos. Now, here today, we're back on that MLB rebuild, trying to rebuild these Reds to the best of my abilities. And I can tell you, it's a lot harder than Madden. Maybe it's just because the seasons are longer and like the holes aren't as blatant, because people can play differently every season. As we've seen, I thought we had an ace coming into the season. He ended up finishing the year as a long reliever. We had Tyler Mahaley have to step back into his ace role when he really wasn't one last season. So kind of coming into this, we'll look to obviously sign some of our exclusive free agents back and fill in maybe a couple more key holes that I felt were pretty obvious going into this offseason. First and foremost, though, we got to go ahead and hit our farm director. He did either quit or retired or something. So the first person I see over here is Dave Roberts, +2 power, 3 accuracy, home run per 9, and hits per 9. I was like, I immediately got to take that. He's got all positives in areas that I think we could benefit from. We gave up a lot of home runs, a lot of hits, and it helps out my powers when, you know, I'm trying to hit home runs myself. So we go ahead and offer him a little contract and then go straight into the tender qualifying offers. Now, learn from last year. I'm not about to offer an $18 million deal to anybody that I don't think deserves it, but I'd rather sign people to long-term deals if we can possibly get them. So Tyler Mahaley, 3-year deal there worth about $20 million a season. We come over to Kirby Yates, give him about a 2-year, $4.5 million a year deal. Luis Caesar also will get a deal, but I'm letting a couple people go that I think are not necessary anymore. Donovan Solano, he had an okay season last year, but I think we can fill that gap and possibly get somebody better, save my money there. The only big challenging part was Mike Moustakas. I didn't know what to do with him, but he wasn't asking for that much. My dude only went $2.8 million a year, $3 million a season. Near the tail end of his career, he knows he's almost time's up, so I went and signed him. But that will still be one of our needs going into this as we get Dave Roberts to sign with us. Going into the free agency period, looking for an everyday third baseman to take over that role, possibly maybe move Mike Moustakas to a DH role. Will be a top focus. Next up, we got arbitration, though, because we do got to, you know, possibly sign these dudes. I would like to sign them long term instead of offering arbitration if I can. So the top 3 are my main priority with that. Victor Robles, give him a 2-year deal. Eliza Hernandez, I'm thinking about a 3-year deal here worth about $6 million a season. Maybe he stays into the rotation. If he pitches like he did last year, he definitely will. And then Brutus Sargatterall, one of our best relievers when we had a abysmal, you know, bullpen. Definitely got to sign him back. Now, as for the other 2, Kyle Farmer and Albert Amora Jr., haven't been too impressed with them as far as this point in the season. So I go ahead and lowball them. Drop that arbitration all the way down. Probably might not win, but I think I should just based off the way they play. They have not played great at all. The next step is obviously offering our contract renewals. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take you guys through all this. There's a lot of people here that need contracts redone. We're just going to focus on the main people, you know, Tariq Skubal. And I say main, but it's also the main ones that aren't still on their minor league deals, like Chase Petty. So Tariq or Doug Granger, rookie of the year last year. We would definitely want to sign him up for a couple of years. I'm thinking, you know, still let him prove his worth. You know, we'll get him for a 2-year deal, $170K per season, not too bad. And then we go to Tariq Skubal here. I'm just offering him, you know, kind of 1 to 2-year deal, seeing how low I can go to save up money for free agency, because I don't know if he's going to even make the rotation, if it's going to be worth this money. Although he did do good at AAA last year and did a little bit of work at the major league level there in spring, or not spring, but September call-ups. And the first man I see is Shohei Ohtani. I'm like, oh, I mean, shoot, am I trying to give up a draft pick for that though? Do I have enough cap space? You see, we have $55 million in pending offers, $85 in available budget, so that probably gives me about $30 million to play with here in free agency. And I'm like, it's gonna take $30 million just to sign Shohei Ohtani himself. Like, I might as well go ahead and get away from that. Go look at the relievers, try to build back up my bullpen. The first move I decided to make is probably to go after Jordan Hicks here. Give him a 2-year, $6 million a year deal. And then I wanted to look for everyday third baseman. The options were plentiful, but the ages were definitely up there for most of them. I see Rafael Devers here at 27, Anderson at 30, Gio at 32. Everybody's in that 30 plus, and I'm like, I just got to go for Devers. He just hit back-to-back seasons over 300. 3 seasons where he's basically over 25 home runs. I need that kind of production to replace Mike Moustakas. So I go ahead and sign him. I'm like, here, I'll give you 3 years, get you all the way up to 30, give you about $16 million a season where you sign that and come to the squad, because I definitely will need that back to back up my lineup. kind of going through my roster once again here, trying to see what are our weaknesses. Do I have someone where I'm like, I can use a starter there, or can use this type of hitter, that type of hitter? And I think overwhelmingly one of our biggest needs, at least to me, was the bench and the pitching. As far as what it would take to win. Now, I don't think we're a starter away from winning a World Series, which is why, looking at some of these deals, $33.1 million just to get Julio Urias. I decided not to make a move on a starting pitcher this season and just keep things moving. Shohei Ohtani going out to Philadelphia off a 10-year deal. That's the kind of deals you see here in MLB The Show too. Dudes really be signing 10 years, 7 years. You would never see that in Madden. But we do get Rafael Devers. First big signing of the offseason. Whoa. We sped past it a little quick, but now we got to figure out what to do with Mike Moustakas, and he's only eating up $3 million, so I decided not to, release him or trade him or anything like that. Just too crazy. But we do sign Rafael Devers, 3 years, $49 million. That is a huge addition to our lineup. As we go ahead and look at some of the other signings, because it doesn't pop up every major signing, but we did get basically everybody that I wanted back to sign back. Also, Jordan Hicks does end up signing his 2-year deal as well, so we did go ahead and get him too. But this just helps the lineup tremendously, getting this big time back into the lineup. Now you see Tyler Mahle still hasn't signed yet, so that's a big arm in our rotation. I'm looking at some of these tired guys, I'm looking at their ages, I'm looking at how much money it's going to take, and I'm like, we got $10 million left. There's no way I make a big time offer for that. Now 40-man rosters are coming up for the 405 draft, so I had to make this move here. Anderson Espinoza, one of our draft picks from last year, I went ahead and moved him to the 40-man roster. He's at single A, but 65 overall A potential. I couldn't risk that being taken away from me in the Rule 5 draft. Next move, Astros. They want to offer me a trade, and it's looking pretty good. Ryan Presley for Lucas Sims, also throwing in Jeremiah Pena, an A potential shortstop at 26 years old, which I was thinking was kind of nice. He hasn't seen any MLB time. The ultimate deciding factor, though, for me was just the age of Ryan Presley, 35 years old. We're not in a win now mode. Otherwise, I might have made this trade. I mean, we're just coming off a season where we're just at 70 wins and like 3rd or 4th in the division. We're not in win now mode. Probably still got another year or two. And Tyler Mahle goes ahead and signs his deal to go ahead and stay on the squad as well. But that's why I didn't make that move. Otherwise, so let me know down below if you guys would have made it yourselves, if that was a smart move to not take that. But instead of going to get that shortstop, I go get me a 28-year-old who is a utility player, plays everywhere in the infield and outfield. I think that's something we're lacking too, someone that can, really cover for days off all around the field and hit for a good average. 258 last year, but he has 97 contact versus lefty, so that could very easily go up. 63 contact versus right, so we can kind of work on that. But I think it's well worth a move for our bench that saw a lot of dudes hit under 200 or just barely peaking at 200. So I thought that was a smart move. If we can go ahead and get him at least, I'm simulating a couple days, checking back in to see if we get him. You see Kirby Yates is still holding out too as well as we head into the Rule 5 draft, and you can see it right there if you don't recognize it. Daniel Velajon, our catcher, I should say their catcher now, 24 years old, 72 overall. I mean, maybe we could possibly move them up, but I'm high on our backup catcher right now, Matthew Nielsen. So that's why I didn't move him and put him on the 40-man roster. I didn't think anybody would take him, but he got swiped from me. Looking at everybody else here, I don't feel like there's anybody that would make a significant impact to my lineup or my rotation if I were to go ahead and sign him. So here in the Rule 5 draft, there's not really much that I'm going to be doing. We're going to go ahead and just let that pass. It looks like I think 5 teams ended up using a pick in the first round. We'll see how many of them actually end up making 2 picks. I don't see any of them going past the second, though, at the least. Looks like 3 more teams end up picking up another player. They must be really struggling. As we go into round 3, nobody decides to do anything, so we will end it there. And just now, to replace that catcher, I go try to sign Mario Ortiz. Really lowball him here because I'm like, man, you ain't gonna get no other contract. You're like the third worst catcher on this list. Unfortunately, he declines it, so I have to offer a little bit more. I end up doubling the offer up to $60K and moving on about my business. So we simulate through the rest of December. You see a couple more big moves coming across the screen, and now Kirby Yates is the only one on my offers. So I go over to check. Mario Ortiz has signed. He's our worst player, but he has signed. He's welcome back onto the squad. And Ahmed Rosario Ahmad, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but Rosario does sign with the team, making him one of our best signees of the free agency period. Now Kirby Yates here, you see he accepts the Blue Jays offer and is no longer accepting ours, but that is a great job by us to go ahead and pick that up and continue this offseason of greatness. Now we lose both of our arbitrations. You already knew that, but I'm proud of the moves that I was able to make in free agency. With that being done and over with, we're coming to the close of free agency. So a final look at the roster here. As you can see, a lot of MLB tags next to a lot of these starting pitchers. It's going to be a huge battle when spring training comes, mostly because I don't know who's going to perform. I would love for Hunter Green to go ahead and make his appearance to the show and do great, but I don't want to put him in a bad position to struggle. Same thing kind of goes with guys like Kyler Tyler, Nick Lodato, and Anderson Espinosa has the MLB tag because we had to put him on the 40-man just to keep him away from that Rule 5 draft pickup. But I think we have a stronger team than last year. I like this team a little bit more than last year. My expectations would probably be somewhere around 80 wins, maybe. At least going back up to 500, hitting 500, maybe a couple games over 500. Just because I like the pitching addition, I like the pitching growth that we've had, not even additions because we didn't add too much other than the bullpen. But I like the additions that we added in the lineup, getting Rafael Devers. Mike Moustakas now can take a little step back, and if he's coming off the bench, that already improves the bench and that in its own. But also getting Rosario to kind of back up the bench. I think another season with Matthew Nelson, he'll improve a little bit and be a good backup catcher for us. I think that could be something that is ultimately a top priority for us to do, is make sure that he's developing nicely to be able to back everything up. We'll have a first base competition between Jake Bowers and Colin Moran to see who will be the backup first baseman, or see if either of them make the roster. Now that I got Rosario, I don't need as many infielders because that boy can play everywhere. Cesar Hernandez and Julian India, they're going to do what they do because the middle of the infield is locked. They had a great year last year. They've had great 2 years. I'm not worried about my infield at all. Honestly, when it comes to my starters, it's all ultimately on the bench. What is the bench going to do? Are they going to put up good averages, come in and be able to spot start, give me still good play as the starters were in, or at least, close to it, to where I don't feel like we're losing offense when somebody can't play. AC Brad Parks is also getting invited to spring training. Had to put him on the 40-man too. He's a 21-year-old, A potential at 62 overall already. I was not about to lose that. But we'll see if maybe he's ready to make that leap. I doubt it at 62 overall, but we'll see what kind of spring camp he's able to have. Our outfield is pretty much set. Gallo, Granger in the corners. Maybe Drake Fraley plays his way into an outfield spot this year, but Victor Robles as a come off the bench outfielder, that is his role now, because Jay Allen, I think, has made the leap and showed me enough that he is ready to go ahead and be in our starting rotation, starting lineup. 21 years old, 75 overall. I have a lot of high hopes for him. I mean, you could say maybe Victor Robles deserves to start. Spring training will tell. I'll make sure to give them equal reps between the two. Not even reason to talk about right field. We still waiting for somebody to spark up over there. Maybe that'll be a focus in the draft next year. But as far as our rotation goes too as well, big body competition. Luis Severino, Taylor Mahle, Tariq Skubal, Luis Castillo, Hunter Green. Nobody's spot is safe. We still got Vladimir Gutierrez. The rookie I just drafted will get a couple starts. Chase Petty will get a couple starts. Nick Lodato, Eliza Hernandez. There is a lot of pitchers fighting for those 5 spots. And then, 1 or 2 of them will stay as a long reliever. As far as the lineup goes, I'm loving this new look of a lineup. I didn't even know who I want to be my leadoff hitter between India's contact and Jay Allen's speed. I normally like speed up there, but India has performed very, very, very well as a leadoff hitter, batting .280 both years. So maybe he's a 2-hitter, but that pushes a lot of people in my lineup down. Cesar Hernandez. Where do I put Rafael Devers? Where do I put Mike Moustakas? Where do I put the rookie of the year, Doug Granger, who did great at the 6-5 spot last year? But, where do these guys go now? This will all be determined next year. As you can see, some of our more important free agents that we'll need to sign back to as well coming into a new year. But I'm ready to go and get spring training started, getting to see some of these battles. If you guys want to start seeing spring training more, I need to see a little bit more support. I need to see you guys asking for it and thumbsing up those comments so that way I can see that you guys want to see it. Because if I think it's boring, you guys aren't going to want to watch it, I'm not going to put it out there for you guys, right? So I'm going to watch this year's spring training on my own, watch these battles play out. Let me know if you guys want me to start implementing them into the videos, and I'll do like a spring next year. We'll do a spring training video where I kind of highlight some of the battles, maybe show off some highlights from a couple games, and maybe even stream a couple things. We'll get everything popping over there. So let me know what you guys think about that, man. Leave the comments down below. Like and subscribe on your way out. It's me, your boy SGG, the king of games, aka GM Smooth, and I think I whipped this team into shape. Goal this year is definitely to at least hit 81 wins. 81 to 85 wins is the goal. If that puts us into a wild card spot, but if not, we'll be extra aggressive next year as long as we get those goals to make that push for a playoff spot. So hope you guys did enjoy. I'm gone.